Yo! Happy New Year, everybody. Gonna keep working on Cataclysm thing. I was supposed to get it done. Yeah. Slow and steady wins the race, I suppose. I did update the first panel for page 2 because I wasn't happy with the first version of it. It wasn't really feeling it. Yep, there it is. Yeah, I wasn't too happy with the way that looked, so I just changed that. I mean, it looks okay, it's just... it's not as good as the next version. Might as well go with it. There's a person for everything, right? Unless you're afraid to get a little intimate. How you been, Snowcube? Starting off the new year fresh? Or doing something a little bit different? Good, I guess. What about you? Well, I'm doing alright. Been busy because I got family over, but it's not a bad thing. Did watch a movie with my family last night that was just kind of meh. It's called Monster Summer. Has Mel Gibson in it. And that guy from... what's that movie called? The Sandlot? You know, the one with a giant dog. Have you ever seen that movie? Yeah, unfortunately, the movie that we watched, Monster Summer, it's just kind of mid, and I hate to say that because it just felt like an hour and 30-minute long episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark, you know? I mean, sad to say, I find scarier movies in, like, amateur-made films, because at least with amateur-made films, like, you don't know what to expect. Like, there's always going to be like a little bit of like special sauce that they add in to make it really spooky, and because amateur films look pretty cheap, it just kind of adds to the horror. And I feel like part of the reason why Monster Summer wasn't really that scary was just it felt very organized, very safe, very Hollywood, you know? And as far as, you know, monster designs and horror in general, it just felt pretty samey. Nothing really challenging to the audience. Monster Hunter movie? Oh no, I didn't watch that. I heard I heard that one was pretty much a train wreck too. Isn't it by like the same guy who directed the Resident Evil movies? I shouldn't even be surprised. But yeah. Love The Sandlot? Oh yeah, love that movie too. Scared the crap out of me when I was younger, and I think it was still scary. You'd think I'd be better at like horror movies, and that's not really a horror movie. It's more of like a slice of life with, you know, horror sprinkled in there. But yeah, I don't recommend Monster Summer. The movie was pretty middle of the road, and I think that's more frustrating than if something was just outright bad. If the movie's bad, at least it's fun to make fun of, but a movie that's just kind of like in the middle, like it's not great, it's not terrible, it's like, it just kind of felt like you wasted your time, you know? Because you can imagine a better version of the movie that just doesn't exist. And I think that's just the major shame of it. And there are some simple fixes too. For one thing, and if you don't mind me spoiling it, because I don't really care much for the movie, like the monster was a witch, you know, that eats kids and whatnot, and it really shouldn't have been a witch. They didn't really use magic all that much. There was like one scene when the witch like went to the protagonist's house and was like messing with the typewriter and like the lights and stuff, but not really anything else. And how did they kill the witch? They killed the witch with silver bullets. You know, like a werewolf, because I guess it works on them too. Just so silly. It's like, it's not ridiculous enough to be like a B movie, and it's not high budget enough to be like a Hollywood blockbuster. If that's even a classification. To the ROK cosplay monster. I mean, the witch's design was okay, it just didn't really stand out. Like, if you were to think of like a stereotypical witch in a horror movie, you can probably think of the witch in Monster Summer. And I don't know if it's just me, but when I hear the title Monster Summer, it sounds like there should be more than one monster. You know what I mean? Like a single monster just for the whole summer block. Feels like a lot of wasted space right there, but oh well. But yeah, I don't recommend Monster Summer. It went on for way too long, and the payoff wasn't even that great. Just a lot of wasted potential there. Like, the one good scene in the movie, because even if you're watching a bad movie, there's usually one good scene that you can think is, hey, they actually tried. Is that scene when the witch went to, like, the protagonist's house and was just messing with the electronics. Like, there's a really creepy scene, like, with Mel Gibson at his house when the witch stopped over. She was, like, messing with his VHS tapes because the story takes place in 1997. And the videotape that he was watching was like old family footage of him playing with his son, and the video starts getting all corrupted, you know, with all that static, and then the son starts talking to him. It's like, you know, like, why did you leave me to die, and all that. That was genuinely creepy. If the whole movie was like that, that would have been fantastic, but no, it was really just that one scene that was good. The rest was just meh. Apparently, The Sandlot has 2 other movies I haven't watched, but judging by the reviews, I'm not missing much. Yeah, I didn't even know that sequels. I was fine with the first one. It's one of those movies where you don't really need a sequel. You can just, be happy with what you got. But, direct-to-video movies were a huge thing in the 90s and early 2000s. Like, anyone see Mulan 2? Or, Aladdin 2? Was Aladdin 2 the Revenge of Jafar? Something. So... Like, these are the movies that are not going to be in theaters, but they're going to try to make a buck off of it because, parents want to buy a VHS tape for their kids to just, occupy their time with. If they're bored with their Legos. Their Legos and their Barbies. It was a lot more consuming back then too, because those VHS tapes, once you're done watching the movie or TV show or whatever, you gotta take the tape out and then rewind it, either with the VCR itself, or if you had like a dedicated machine that just rewinds stuff for you. So those were cool. I remember my uncle had like a VHS rewinder, and it was like in the shape of a Lamborghini. Those things were so cool. Like, you'd put in the tape and the lights would come on the Lamborghini. Those were the best. And while you're waiting for it to finish rewinding, you go do other stuff. You can probably pop in a different movie. Go play with your Legos again. Your Legos are your army men. Army men were cool. I mean, they still are cool, but I was just thinking, like, yeah, it was cool to set them up, but then you have to clean up afterwards, and you'd always forget, like, there's, like, one army dude that you just forgot. You'd, like, put him in, like, a sniper corner somewhere. Werewolf cosplays as a witch, yeah. A better choice would have actually been to make the monster, like, a siren, because, like... If you're not gonna use the magic at all, you could at least use the siren, because the siren's supposed to, like, lure people to their doom or whatever. And because, like, the story takes place, like, on an island, like in New England, like, you really could have just made it like a siren, Just, you're close to the water, spooky stuff happens, like, the breadcrumbs were there, they just didn't... They really wanted it to be a witch, I guess. It's not nearly as good as the witch design from... This is the movie The Witches. I know they made like a remake of it a few years ago, but no, I'm talking about like the original. Was it like the 90s? Yeah, the witches design for those things are just absolutely horrifying. They are so scary that it's borderline like Alien, because they like remove their mask and they're all sticky and gooey and bald, and it's the type of design that will give kids nightmares, and that's kind of the point. But I remember that movie, and from what I remember, it was pretty good. The other monsters are too busy enjoying the summer. Yeah, probably. It's a cruel, cruel summer. Scene kind of reminds me of the Mandela catalog. I've never actually seen that. I've heard of it, but I've never checked it out. I know there's like this one Easter egg in Honkai Star Rail that references the Mandela catalog, and it was like super creepy. It was creepy enough to the point where I had to look up what were they thinking with that Easter egg. It just comes out of nowhere. So that was my first exposure to it. It was a freaking Easter egg in a gacha game. Very cool VHS player, too bad you can't drive it. Yeah, well, you know. Lamborghini has always been my dream car. If not a Lamborghini, it's the DeLorean, because Back to the Future. Have to. I built a Lego bonsai tree a week ago. Yeah, Legos are still fun to build, but man, they're a lot more expensive. I don't know if they're more expensive nowadays than they were before. Like, I was just a kid, I didn't really pay attention to the prices of stuff. But, I guess because more adults are getting back into Legos, they pushed up the price. And that's kind of a shame. Kind of a shame, that is a shame. Like, man, I want my Jurassic Park Lego set. You can't do that when it's like $100 a pop. No, I've actually seen, like, some Lego sets are like $200. I'm like, man, you either get like a Nintendo Switch or you get this Lego set. You're gonna have to pick one. You must have lost your mind. Today on Top Gear, we're driving this VHS Ferrari. Just look at the speed. I am speed. You ever seen the Ford versus Ferrari movie? It's pretty good, but you know, because it is based on a true story. Prepare for the ending. I'm not gonna spoil it, but you know. That's always a tricky thing when you're making like a movie based on real history. You do have to stick with real history, otherwise, you know, you will belittle their memory. Still. It's been a while since I watched like a legit like racing movie and not like something like Fast and the Furious. I do remember, like, the first racing movie I watched was, like, that Tom Cruise one. Can't remember the name, though. I want to say it was, like, in the 90s. And it had Tom Cruise in it. That's all I remember. Oh, and of course, Cars. And Cars 2. I've never seen Cars 3 because I guess Cars 2 left such a bad taste on my mouth. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. And I was fine with the first Cars movie. I know a lot of people were like being really hard on Cars 1. Like, as far as like other movies in the Pixar lineup, yeah, Cars was definitely like one of the weakest at the time. But yeah, I mean, it's a comfy movie. That's the way I treat it. It's not gonna be like groundbreaking or anything. It's just fine to watch if it's on and there's nothing else. You know, this was like back then when we didn't have fast internet, so if you wanted to watch something, you either wait for it to be on TV or you just get the movie physically in a DVD, VHS, and later Blu-ray. I have yet to watch the Mandela catalog, mostly because I'm a coward. Yeah, don't feel bad. I have this weird relationship with horror movies because either they're like way too much for me because I hate jump scares. They get me every single time. Whenever I stream a horror game, it doesn't even matter if it's Resident Evil. And even though Resident Evil is my game, I still get hit with jump scares. and it hits me with like full effect, no matter how many times it happens. Like, I couldn't even finish Five Nights at Freddy's because jump scares were just too much. But that's on one side. Like, it's a good horror movie. I can't handle it, but I'll still, try to force myself to watch it. On the flip side, if it's like a bad horror movie, it's gonna be so frustrating for me to watch because, like, characters are just gonna be doing like the stupidest things, and if they die, I feel zero sympathy because they were being stupid. And I get it, you're human, you panic, but in a horror movie, it is so frustrating to watch. It is different in a horror game because you are the one who's controlling the character. So if you do something stupid, that's on you. You're not gonna be frustrated because that was your call to go to the basement. So, yeah. I find more enjoyment playing horror games than watching horror movies, even though there are some really good horror movies out there. Like, really, like, iconic movies that will keep you up at night, which is what they're supposed to do. Probably one of the worst horror movies I've seen that was like so hyped up, like this was like one of the best indie horror movies of all time. People kept praising this thing, was It Follows. Man, that movie sucked. Okay, it had an interesting premise, right? It Follows is about like this monster that is like passed on like a curse, right? Like, like how The Ring, you got Sadako, she's like, if you watch that tape, you're cursed. You'll die in 7 days, like no exceptions, right? So It Follows is kind of like that, but instead of it being like a VHS tape, instead it's sex. Okay? If you have sex with this person who's been cursed by the monster, then the monster will now hunt after you. And it goes down the line. So basically, if somebody who was cursed sleeps with you, now you have to sleep with somebody else so you can pass the curse over to them. So basically, you have to just have sex nonstop just so that you'll protect yourself. Because you don't know. Maybe the person that you just had sex with will die tomorrow, and now the curse is back to you, right? Okay. If it isn't already obvious, the monster is like an allegory for like an STD, sexually transmitted disease, HIV, whatever, right? Okay, fair enough, all right? It's interesting when a monster is like representing like a primal fear that people have. Okay, fair, sure. So here's the thing though, the monster walks really slowly. It is literally that question people have where, hey, if you're invincible and there's this snail that's also invincible, but if the snail touches you, then you die, right? So that's this movie, It Follows. It's just the frickin' snail allegory, wherever that came from. But with sex. So that's that movie. What's the most frustrating thing about this movie is how stupid the characters are. And again, these are supposed to be dumb teenagers. I get it. But they really push the limit to how stupid a character can be and get away with it. Especially the main heroine, who, at one point, she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna start sleeping with whoever wants to sleep with me just so I can keep pushing the curse over to them. So they'll die, but at least I'll buy myself time. So already, the main character's a bitch. So there's that. And then there's this one scene at the beach where I knew that this movie was a dumpster fire. It was her and her friends just relaxing on the beach, even though they know that the monster is like closing in on her. So they should always be on the move, but no, they're relaxing on the beach. And I kid you not, the monster catches up with her, and what does it do? It starts playing with her hair. It doesn't kill her immediately like everybody else that the monster has killed so far. It just starts playing with her hair. Of course, she starts panicking, and her friends are like throwing chairs and stuff. and they somehow were able to fight off the monster. Somehow. And I didn't even mention, like, the best or worst part. The monster kills you by having sex with you. Alright? Like, to the point where your bones break. I'm not joking. This is, like, regarded as, like, one of the best indie horror movies of all time. And this is the monster that they came up with. A monster that is just straight up out of a porno. They put in this movie. It's like, oh, you know, it's an indie movie. You have to give it some leeway. I'm like, no, if it's stupid. I don't care if it's a big budget Hollywood movie or an indie movie. If it's stupid, I have to call it out because it is. And oh my gosh, I'm just gonna go ahead and spoil the ending because I hated my experience watching this movie because I watched it with my dad. And it was like one of the most awkward movies you could ever watch with your dad or any of your parents or relatives because, my gosh, you literally have a sex monster that is just following people around just to kill them with the sex. And people were praising this indie movie. So, okay, the plan was, at the end, they're like, all right, what if we trap the monster in like a swimming pool and then we electrify the water, right? Here's the kicker, though. Unless you are cursed, you can't see the monster. So if you want to see the monster, you have to have sex with a person who got cursed, right? But that means now only you can see the monster, though. So how are you supposed to kill a monster when only one person sees it, all right? Interesting premise, sure. Too bad the monster's stupid. And the main characters are stupid. Like, it was just absurd, just the lengths they went to just do the swimming pool plan, which would have failed miserably if they didn't get lucky. And that's like the worst thing you can ever do in a movie, and especially in a horror movie, is how did they kill the monster? With pure luck. Because remember, the monster is invisible, unless you had sex with the person who had got cursed, right? So they had got themselves a gun. And it's a revolver, so, you know, they got 6 shots or whatever. Because, you know, the whole electrocution thing, it didn't work, so now they just have to shoot it, you know? The bullets, my only weakness, bullets. So, the one holding the revolver can't see the monster. So, when one of the friends gets grabbed, he's like, alright, I'm gonna start shooting into the water. Hopefully I can kill the monster. And guess what? He nailed a freaking headshot on this invisible monster in the swimming pool. Like, if you don't know science, or you've never been in a swimming pool before, there's this magical thing called refraction. Like, the thing in the water is not actually where you think it is. Like, there's going to be like a bit of a difference in the distance, especially underwater. And remember, you're shooting at something that's invisible, plus the refraction, and your friend is like struggling in the water. I am surprised you didn't accidentally shoot your friend. So yeah, that's how they kill the monster, but because this is a horror movie, the monster comes back at the end for like one last sting or whatever. Terrible movie, but I will give one positive aspect. I love the fact that we established that the monster just walks towards you. That is actually creepy when you execute it right. And in the scenes where they execute it right and It Follows, it does it very well, because while characters are just sitting and talking, you will be looking at the background and you'll see people walking towards them. So there's this like constant state of paranoia that the movie does do a good job with. But everything else is trash. I can't recommend the movie to anybody who values their time. Like, just, it is so frustrating to watch and so awkward to watch, because it is literally the plot of a porno or a hentai, whatever. That's it. That's the movie. So yeah, that's probably the worst horror movie I saw because it was hyped up so much. Like, even Red Letter Media, and I love Red Letter Media, even they praised It Follows, and I'm like, damn, dude, did we watch the same movie? This thing sucks. I mean, it's okay to watch bad movies, but you gotta admit it's pretty bad. Like, I enjoy bad video games and bad anime, but even I call out on it, where it's like, I can't recommend this, but I'm not gonna lie that I enjoyed it, you know? Like, I like Mariah Nikki, I like Future Diary, but even I have to admit that show is a mess. It's a fun mess, but it ain't Citizen Kane. It's not Neon Genesis Evangelion. But I warn people, it's like, if you want to watch Mariah Nikki, Future Diary, you need to know what you're in for, because it's gonna get crazy, dude. I'm not gonna be, like, praising it as, like, the next coming of Neon Genesis, no. Oh yeah, Helltaker. OST. Oh, you watched the Q&A video for the Mandela catalog? It isn't stupid if the game forces you to. Yeah, exactly. Also, for some reason, the Mandela catalog is one of the few places of horror media I'm too scared to watch. Really? I remember back then, for me, it was like Marble Hornets. Like, this was before, like, you know, Slender Man, like, exploded on the internet. Like, it was really freaky watching, like, the Slender Man stuff when he was still pretty unknown. So whenever, like, a new video came out, it was, like, huge. Like, you know, at least for the community at the time. And then, of course, things changed when you got the game. PewDiePie plays it, and it's like, alright, now everybody knows about Slender Man, and it loses the effect because of how mainstream it becomes, right? It is cool to see, you know, that kind of thing at its early stages and be like, man, I was there. I was there when the scripture was written. Well, if you gave STD to the monster, oh, well, the monster is an STD, so it doesn't... it cannot be affected by its own element. Like a RPG. Fire doesn't do fire to anything. Fire doesn't do anything to the fire monster, it just pickles it. I remember watching Hellfest and being very interested in everything in it. The monster got mad that she couldn't play with her hair, so she starts doing it. They have half the luck that Joseph Joestar has. Oh yeah, the creator of Helltaker made another game. It's Awaria. It's free. It's fun. I'm terrible at bullet hell games, so I can only beat it on normal. And even then, man, trying to beat that game on normal was really frustrating because of the RNG. Like, on the later stages, it becomes just pure luck. Like, I could be in the zone, I could be, like, dodging, you know, projectiles left and right, but then I would get to a generator, and it's like, you need this part that requires another part to make. So, you're either gonna get hit going on your way back, or you're gonna run out of time and the generator is gonna blow up. And, yeah, it's... At least with Helltaker, there's, like, one solution to everything. Pretty much. So as long as you can find the combo for it, you can do it. But Owaria, on the other hand, nah, you need to be decent at bullet hell games at least. And especially multitasking. It's one thing to be playing like a bullet hell game and you're just dodging bullets and firing back, but no, in this one, it's like you're playing like a management sim, but there's bullets flying at you. And there's those ghosts that have the melee attacks, so you really have to keep moving. There's just a lot going on. But it's a very cute game. It didn't take long. I beat it in like 2 hours. Like, as bad as I am in bullet hell games, Awaria was fun. You know, maybe someday I can beat it on hard, otherwise I can just, you know, buy the DLC that just unlocks all the gallery pictures. Hey, that is nice that, you know, he made the game for free. That's wild. I can't hear shit, Kevin? Uh-oh. Did I mute myself? Or is the audio too loud? Dial it down a little bit. Okay, how's the audio? Can you hear me? Raise your hand if you can hear me. Sesby and Lex game. Yep, you kiss ghosts. It's really cute. You kiss ghosts for maximum damage. Awaria plays like Cuphead in a way. I was so relieved when you can finally dash, because like for the early parts in the game, you're just walking. You can't dash, you can't do anything. And I'm not gonna spoil like what happens towards the end of the game, but you also get another power that does make life quote-unquote easier, but because it is supposed to be easier, they do throw a lot more bullshit at you, so... Yeah, give Awaria a shot. It's free, it's fun. Honestly, I should make like a list of like free games. Like Doki Doki Literature Club, Awaria, Helltaker. Like, if not free, like dirt cheap. Like you can literally just buy this because it seems like it's always on sale. Okay, you can hear. Cool. How you doing, John Carmine? Starting off the new year with a bang? Or more of a Coke float? I actually had a good Coke float the other day. More of an ice cream kind of guy, but, you know, sundaes and floats are pretty good too. Now parents are going to see me playing a game at the worst possible moment. Well, at least you're not watching It Follows. There's worse games to play. Or worse things for your parents to walk in on. I mean, it is funny when stuff like that happens. I mean, I'm an adult, and I still get, like... I still feel awkward when stuff like that happens, like in a movie. It's like, alright, you know what? I'm not even gonna look like I'm interested in what's happening. I'm just gonna have, like, resting bitch face the whole time. You know? It's like, I'm not even gonna look at my parents when something like that's gonna happen. Like, there's that one scene in Squid Game 1 when those two players are doing it in the bathroom. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna look at what my parents are looking like. I don't want to see their face. Wait, what? You never seen Squid Game? Uh-oh, okay, well... Spoilers, I guess. Couple characters, It's not even the horizontal tango, they're like sitting up straight because it's the bathroom. Oh, it's first season. You remember the guy with the tattoo and that crazy lady who smuggled in the cigarettes and stuff? She was like, you know, if you ever betray me, I'll kill you. That kind of thing. You know, like you do. I mean, I wouldn't even say she's crazy lady. She's more like really high strung. I've seen crazy. Oh, you remember? There you go. Oh, yeah. I mean, season 1 is already fantastic by itself. If they never got, like, a sequel, it would still be, like, a good show to watch on its own. And the ending, you can just chalk it up to, like, oh, the adventure continues, and you can just think of your own ending at that point. But it is good that they got a second season. Which I finished watching a few days ago with my family, so yeah. I don't want to spoil it for anyone because it's still pretty recent, so I'll just say it's really good, but it does end on a cliffhanger because there's one last season to go, so prepare yourself for that. The adventure continues. But as far as season 1 goes, open season, dude. It's been long enough. You can spoil Squid Game 1. Only season 1, though. Viva la Revolution. Viva Revolution. Viva la Revolution? That was La. It is La. Okay. The only French I know is omelette du fromage and oui oui baguette. And je ne sais quoi. And I guess Viva la Revolution, but that's... pretty standard, I think. Roblox? Where? Is this song in Roblox? It's in Persona 5 Royale. Life is Roblox. Always nice to hear Persona music. Indeed. Started replaying the original Persona 5, even though I already remember how stupid the ending is. But still fun. The game's still fun, still has some really good character moments. It's just the ending that just throws itself into traffic. I am curious how different Persona 5 Royale is. Maybe they fix how dumb the ending is. We'll see. I still like the characters though, so... guess that's what really matters, is the friends we made along the way. What are you drawing? How's it going, Connor? I'm working on Cataclysm Club again. Chapter 6, to be specific. We got our, we got our heroes. Why is this so tiny? I don't think this is the original file. Where is it? I think this is the thumbnail I used for the Newgrounds album. Oh yeah, this one's bigger. And of course we have the original cover art, which still makes me laugh just how silly it is. Yeah. Any guesses to what the chapter is referencing? Even without any dialogue, do you have any guesses to what this is referencing? At least the first page. The second page is pretty wild. Why did bros shrink when laughing? I don't know. I don't know how I do that. Not a toggle or anything. I guess I just lean back in my chair. Why did I not add another S? Bros, like Super Mario Bros. A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman. You said you wanted to Smash, but I don't see a Nintendo Switch. I haven't played the original Persona 5, but Royale, what it is a very nice experience. I've heard Royale is really good. So, I guess I'm playing the original Persona 5 because I want to get Royale on sale. Steam sale, whenever the next Steam sale is. I'll go get it then. And even before that, I also have Persona 5 Scramble on PlayStation 4, that Dynasty Warriors beat-em-up game, which is not related to Royale at all. I think it's its own standalone thing. Haven't come to the streams for a long time? Well, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not until recently I started streaming more often. I mean, before it was like a once-a-month kind of thing. But now I'm trying to keep it consistent with Monday and Thursday. So, you know, thank you for stopping by. I have a question. Would you like me to try chatting without using digital keyboard to see if you understand? Like, do you have like one of those audio translator things where you say something and just automatically types for you? I mean, you can try, or unless you mean like you're trying to chat just using emotes only. Like this, like some sort of charades. Broken keys? Oh, okay, your keyboard is broken, so you're just gonna be using the, like a touchpad? Oh, jeez. That is an interesting idea, but that was not my intention. Well, I can still read it. Trust me, I took creative writing in college. I know how to fill in the blanks. Or even, not that's too overqualified. No, I had Mad Libs in kindergarten, okay? I know how to, like, fill in the blanks. You don't need creative writing in college to do that. You just need to know a little bit of English. I'm watching One Piece. Why does it take Luffy so long to fight the main guy? That doesn't... You know how little that narrows it down? Like, what do you mean main guy? What do you mean, like, Arlong, or... There's so many! Well, in the beginning of One Piece, you know, he's not really that good. Like, what makes Luffy special is he is incredibly durable, and he just doesn't give up. But as far as strategy goes, that's basically out the window. He's just going to win the fight by pure force alone. Okay? There is no strategy. At least that's an early One Piece. And I guess that's what's endearing about Luffy is, yeah, he's not like the smartest, the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's got a good heart. And he'll always try to fight for the people that he cares for. That's what makes him special. He's like if Superman grew up to be a pirate and not like an American photojournalist, you know? a simple man with simple needs.
Oh, did you think I meant you? That would be funny if it weren't so sad. Well, you have been replaced.
Which I guess got, I guess, One Piece spoilers, but this isn't even a spoiler because that's been like known for like years. I did think it was a little weird that Luffy does have a brother. Like a huge chunk of One Piece, you just thought he was kind of like an orphan. He was just kind of on his lonesome, but no, he's got family, and I'm like, what? Okay, sure. It's kind of like how in Naruto, you're like, oh, you know, Naruto, he's just kind of like this nobody, but you know, he's been forced to have the friggin', what was it, Nine Tails? Basically, he's like a prison for the Nine Tails. That was rampaging the village like years ago. It's like, oh, okay, he's got nobody. You know, he's kind of like a pariah. You know, but it's like, no, his parents were like the best of the best. He's not a nobody. Like, what? I think the game of charades begun with me explaining what I meant. I can also fill in the blanks. I just hope others can as well. Because if they can't, it'll be difficult explaining these to others when playing game and the sentence I want to write requires a lot of certain keys that are broken. I'm used to my characters having strategies in their fights. I still like Luffy's fights. Yeah, because they're very energetic. That's what makes them so fun to watch and read. I'm reading One Piece because it's gonna be faster for me to read One Piece than to, you know, try to watch hundreds of episodes. Like, I'll start watching once they're actually in the final season, but I don't think that's gonna be happening soon enough? Question mark? Have you ever heard of Rainbow Factory before? No. Is that a game? An anime? It's MLP related, and I haven't watched MLP in forever. I watched season 1 way back in the day, but I never kept up with it. I remember all the MLP creepypastas too. Something about like cupcakes. Only found out about because a certain Roblox game boss uses a version of the song. And another game will soon use a remixed version of it. Both are apparently instrumentals. Found a video ranking Animation Studios debut films, the Lego Movie sitting comfortably at the top. Nice. That's one. That's a great movie to be happy with. As your debut film, huh? Stop with the sillies, return to the ability to write somewhat properly. I must. I understand. I feel like it's harder to write incorrectly when you've already been taught the right way. It's kind of like how, as time goes on, it's harder to make movies that take place in the past, because you're gonna have to spend a lot of the budget just recreating, like, old technology. It's like, dude, it takes a lot of money to make it look this bad. Now, I gotta be careful, because if I don't draw... If I'm not careful, I'm gonna accidentally draw Tomoko when I'm supposed to be drawing Alma. Like, if I'm not careful, it's just gonna be Tomoko again. Thought it was Tomoko. Yeah. I mean, when I think of messy hair, he's kind of the top of the list. Not far from my thoughts. Thoughts and prayers. me explaining why we need to make this giant ballista that Da Vinci designed for the movie just because the silly thing actually built the damn thing. What ballista? When I think of Da Vinci, I think of that tank that looks like a tent, a circus tent. And all the cannons are on the bottom, like the floor. That was Da Vinci, right? But Da Vinci ballista. Leonardo's crossbow? Oh. Yeah, it's like a giant crossbow, huh? Hmm. Neat. It's pretty cool. Not as cool as a P90 though. Oh shit, that's probably copyrighted. You can't play that. I mean, it's all copyrighted, but I feel like that one's just gonna get a slap by Nintendo. Bro's cooked. Nintendo's like the sub-boss of Disney. Disney being the big boss with the 3 health bars. You defeated the boss, therefore we'll now call you Big Boss. Oh, I almost forgot. I had, like, fan art of Tomoko having a crossover with Squid Game for some reason. I thought it was funny. And it is still funny because I just remembered. Let me find it. Is that like 2020? No, it was like 2021. Oh, don't tell me it was 2022. Where is it? Found it. It is 2021. So silly. Yo, how's it going, Incremental? Nope, can't super chat. I don't have the stream monetized because I'm playing a lot of copyrighted stuff, but appreciate the gesture though. Nah, it's from 1995. You defeated Big Boss. We'll now call you Even Bigger Boss. If you lose to another boss, we'll call them your... Nah, if you lose, we'll just bump you back down to boss because, you know, you work pretty hard. I'm really happy with the way that I even made my signature the logo, too. That is so cool. I was really feeling inspired that day. And man, look at that sand texture. It looks really good. This is from 2021? Man. It still looks good. I'm really happy with the way this one turned out. I never played a Fear game. Are they good? The first one is the best one in the series. The second one is pretty good. And then you can stop there. That's it. That's my review of the Fear series. Just play the first two games and you're good. You don't need to play anymore. And if you can only play one Fear game, just play the first one. And you know what's frustrating, though? If you're gonna try to get the game on Steam, you have to buy it in a bundle. So you can't just buy, like, Fear 1 or Fear 2. No, you have to buy all three games, which is terrible. That's a waste of money right there. If you can, just buy a key from somewhere. Just get, like, the first game, or maybe in the second if you feel inclined to. But yeah, definitely get the first game. Alongside Max Payne, it is one of the best games that features, you know, bullet time, slow motion. It does the Counter-Strike thing where you can't aim down sights, so you're just going to be hip-firing for the most part. But when you do aim down sights, it just zooms in on the barrel of your gun. It's really weird, and it does affect your accuracy, which I think is a shame. I feel like for games that do prioritize run and gun, you know, movement, don't have iron sights actually make your gun accurate. I feel like your gun should be like pinpoint, regardless if you're aiming or not. I mean, I love the way that Max Payne 3 does it, where it's like the only reason why you'd want to aim down sights is if you want to like zoom in, not so much because you're less accurate. That was like the coolest part of Max Payne 3 is, you know, I'm just gonna be running and gunning. Because when you aim down sights, it slows down the game's movement, and that's not what you want to do. You want to keep on moving. You don't want to just play it like a cover-based shooter. It's not Call of Duty. You have slow motion for a reason. You need to be getting up in people's faces. And Fear, the AI is really well done because apparently the AI was all done by one person, and he just made it so that, look, they're only doing one thing. all the bots are doing are just patrolling, and they will only change their behavior if something stops them in their path. So when you're not spotted, they're just going down their patrol route. And things happen when you, the player, throw something in their way. And it's really cool because you can actually hear the radio while you're fighting, and it's just a great way to keep the game balanced. Like, they're like, you know, grenade out, or flank him, you know, suppressing fire. Like, they're literally telling you what they're about to do, so the game feels fair. Like, they warned you that they're going to throw a grenade, or they will scream, I see a flashlight, because they do. It's like, hey, turn off your flashlight, you're giving away your position. And if you're doing really well, they start panicking, which is so cool. It's like, you know, he's too fast, or I'm the only one left. It's like, simple things like that still make Fear like one of the best first-person shooters to this day. Obviously, there's, you know, better games afterwards, but Fear still stands pretty tall, you know? It holds up. I mean, I was playing it like a few weeks ago, and I'm like, man, this game's still good. And the fact that they mixed in action with horror is just fantastic, because as powerful as you are, you know, the point man, you got going in guns blazing, dual-wielding pistols, and, you know, blasting people off with a shotgun. The scariest thing in the game is the freaking little girl that's just following you around, just being all spooky. So... And like I said, jump scares get me every single time, and Fear 1 and 2 is just chock full of jump scares. Say what happens if we get you to play. That would be a fun game to play, like, for Halloween. I mean, I guess I could play horror games at any time, but I feel like I should, like, save up all the horror games I actually want to play for spooky season. You know, just my opinion. A Roblox game? I mean, I still haven't played Minecraft. I watch other people play Minecraft, and I even watch some YouTuber cover the Payday mod, or Payday 2 mod for Roblox, so that's pretty funny. But, yeah, it's just... I think I'm in a position where I want to prioritize games that I can actually finish, you know, like story, single-player games. Of course, there's always going to be exceptions, you know, we got Helldivers, we got Dragon Ball Fighters, you know, there's multiplayer games that I can just check in, check out anytime, but for most streams, I want there to be, like, an actual definitive end for the games I'm playing, which is why I want to jump back into Valkyria Chronicles 4, because that game is one that doesn't get that much coverage, and I do feel bad because Valkyria Chronicles 1 and 4 are very near and dear to my heart, and I know that Sega is doing really well with the Yakuza series and of course Sonic, but man, I really want them to bring back Valkyria Chronicles, you know, push it a little bit further into the future, just a little bit, and have vehicles have like a bigger play, because they toyed around with it. In Valkyria Chronicles 1, we got tanks. In Valkyria Chronicles 2, we got tanks and armored personnel carriers and battleships, so that's pretty cool. So if they're ever gonna make a Valkyria Chronicles 5, it would be nice if we got access to some air support. I mean, do some goofy shit, because like, it's historical fiction. So if you want to introduce some helicopters, that'd be pretty cool. I mean, it's not widespread, but we did have helicopters in World War II. They just didn't really see that much combat. They were more for, like, reconnaissance and stuff. So, yeah, just play on that a little bit. But aside from that, even if we don't get a Valkyria Chronicles 5, 1 and 4 are still fantastic games. I can recommend to basically everybody. Literally, because, you know, both games are like T for team. Okay? I mean, they do cover some pretty mature topics, you know, warfare, whatnot. But It's basically like a Miyazaki movie where even kids can handle serious topics and stuff. So that's fine. It's fine. No scopes moment. I freaked out when I saw the Squid Game Tomoko art. It was really good, and I actually started watching Squid Game after I saw that. Really? Yeah, I love Squid Game. It hurts me so much, but I love the show. I guess it's because, you know, I love Danganronpa and Kaiji so much. And Battle Royale. If you've never seen Battle Royale, definitely check it out. Because without Battle Royale, we wouldn't have games like DayZ or Fortnite or even Hunger Games. I mean, Battle Royale is the original Battle Royale, so... You know. It's funny because Quentin Tarantino, he loved the movie so much, and even he said that his biggest regret is he never got to work on it. But for Kill Bill Part 2, he was able to get one of the actors from Battle Royale to play one of the characters. It's a Go-Go, that schoolgirl with the mace, the Morning Star, whatever you call it. Yeah, she's from Battle Royale. Highly recommend watching it. Just prepare yourself. It's pretty bloody, it's pretty gory. But, you know, if you can handle Kill Bill, you can handle Battle Royale. What if I put a concrete wall in front of them? A concrete wall. Oh, the AI from Fear. I mean, they're programmed to go down a certain path, so they're not gonna, like, run into any, like, physical obstacles. They're only gonna run into you. Which does make me curious, is it possible to sneak past the guards? Not really guards, but sneak past, like, the enemies in Fear 1? Or is it, like, inevitable? You're absolutely gonna run into them. And I think that's the case for most of it, because they are actively patrolling the area, and you are in an indoor environment most of the time, so as stealthy as you can be, they're eventually gonna catch up to you. Just straight up. I haven't played Minecraft? Yeah, I haven't played Minecraft. I missed out on the opportunity because I was busy with other games at the time. Like, no joke, when Minecraft was exploding, especially in, like, the Let's Play scene, you know, with Markiplier and everybody, I was busy with Team Fortress 2. I was busy with Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 5. Like, I was busy with all these other games. Uncharted 2... Max Payne 3, like, I was busy with all these games. I didn't have time to fit in Minecraft because, again, Minecraft is open-ended. You can play that forever, like, literally forever. Especially when you start installing mods and stuff. So, I missed out on my opportunity, but I still watched other people play it. Hell, I even watched Video Game Donkey play it. And he unlisted that video, which is terrible. Because I actually love that video of him playing Minecraft. Like, this is before I discovered ASMR. So, Donkey playing Minecraft was, like, so relaxing, I could literally play that video and go to sleep. I mean, he only unlisted it, and I'm pretty sure somebody already re-uploaded it, but that still pisses me off. It's like, that was a good video. Why did you take it down? Hate it when people do that. The internet's for sharing. How dare you? Helicopter in World War II history is very fascinating. Yeah, first time I learned about that was in Medal of Honor Rising Sun on the PlayStation 2. I'm like, what is a helicopter doing in World War II? And I looked it up, and I'm like, oh, they did have helicopters. They just didn't use them all that much because it was still in the experimental phase, obviously. And plus, something slow moving like that is just going to get hit with regular anti-aircraft fire, so they probably didn't want to use it too much. Which is kind of unfortunate because, you know, Vietnam War rolls around and they're like, oh man, we got these awesome helicopters, the freaking Huey, and they immediately start getting lit up by anti-aircraft weaponry provided by the Soviet Union. So it's like, we just got these awesome helicopters and they're just getting shot down with just anti-aircraft. It's like, we didn't find a way to counter that yet. We don't have stealth helicopters yet. If we're gonna be using a helicopter, they're gonna hear us coming. I was playing Minecraft 8 hours a day from 2011 to 2013. Oh, I would not be surprised. A lot of people were addicted to Minecraft, especially in the older days when, like, everything was just so new and everyone had to, like, discover everything on their own. And that's always, like, the magical part of, like, a game, is, like, if you're, like, one of the earliest people to play it, and there's just so much, like, wild speculation about, you know, how the game works and lore and stuff. Like, I remember when Five Nights at Freddy's was just in, like, it just got greenlit on Steam. I never would have thought it would have exploded the way they did. Like, I bought Five Nights at Freddy's for myself and my friends, like, in the first days it actually came out, because I thought it was really interesting, and it was cheap. I'm like, oh man, this game looks really cool. I love the designs for the animatronics. And I played it, and I'm like, this is too much for me. I hate jump scares, and this game is like jump scares like 99%. And the fact that I have to use my headphones just to play it, it's like, dude, this is too intense. Okay? Children can beat this game, but not me. This is a disgrace. But still, I respect the legacy. I'm still impressed that it exploded the way it did. And it was just fascinating to see everyone, like, come up with their own game theories and stuff. So, yeah. Five Nights at Freddy's is like that terrible... a game I'm terrible at, but I love, like, experiencing it from other people's perspectives, creations, what do you want to call it? Just looks cool. The few games I guess I could recommend have a beginning and an end on Roblox is Pressure Endors. Pressure Endors. I'll have to look that up later. Somewhat for Pressure. It was too new and had 500 missiles with 4 machine guns. There was a top secret stealth helicopter that had mufflers in Vietnam. Really? That's cool. To look that up later. IGN didn't even release the first trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's until after it got popular. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. IGN... You can't spell ignorant without IGN. They're always, you know, slow on the uptake, unfortunately. And I've said it before, but yeah, I don't trust number reviews anymore. They just don't... They don't really add anything to the discussion. Whenever somebody's like, oh, I give that game like 8.5 out of 10, it's like, I don't know what that means. Like, did you like it? Yes or no? You don't have to slap a number at the end, because, like, you know, I give this game a 7.2, you know? It's like, 7 out of 10 is barely passing, if we're gonna be using the American grading scale. Like... That is not worth a pre-order. That is not worth full price. It's like, by giving a number review for a game, you're actually devaluing it, because you're trying to be scientific or whatever. It's like, did you like the game? Yes or no? Can you recommend it to people? Just stuff like that. That's it. I will remember your words much better than an arbitrary number. Because what happens when you slap a number on a review? People are going to use that number to compare it to other numbers, even if it is totally uncalled for. It's like, yeah, I'll give Minecraft like a 6.3, and like, you gave Minecraft a 6.3, you gave Modern Warfare 2 a 9.6. You're saying that Modern Warfare 2 is better than Minecraft? It's like, those games are in different genres, but because you gave it a number, now that number is going to be compared with other numbers. So you literally just screwed yourself over and devalued not only the game, but your own opinion. So, word to the wise, don't trust number reviews. Trust the reviews that actually talk about the damn game like a actual conversation, and not just, here's a number, you know? Because you know what happens? People just scroll to the bottom of the article or skip to the end of the video just to see the number. Like, number reviews are like the fast food of thought. It's filling for a moment, but it ends up just being bad for you in the long run. You know, that's my TED Talk for today. Number of views suck. Don't do them. You're feeding into the IGN machine, and whatever website uses number of views, because of course. I'm working on a game called Insectoid Descent. It's using the same engine as Five Nights at Freddy's 1. Really? Nice. Game development's not easy, and I respect the people who take that plunge. Even on, like, stuff that's not, like Dreams, for instance. If you ever seen that, like, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 game, Dreams, it's by the same studio that made, Little Big Planet. I'm like, dude, the fact that people can make full-blown games on Dreams is incredible. And even before that, Little Big Planet, like, people would make, like, games, like, split into chapters on Little Big Planet. Like, incredible stuff. Like, the closest I've gotten to, like, being at that level was I made, like, a music video using the editor in Hatsune Miku's Project Diva games. And they're really good. Like, it's really cool how, like, you can, like, change the environment, you're in charge of the animation, stuff like that. But I'm like, dude, this takes so much time. I have, like, the utmost respect for people who do this, like, as their job. You know? So, respect. I respect the grind. You can't spell ignorant without IGN. One of my good friends in elementary school said that to me in 2008. He was way ahead of the curve. Give him a gold star. Yo, your game sucks because that has a score of 0 compared to this one with a score of 5. Yeah. It's so dumb. I hate it. And the fact that it's gone on for this long and people haven't caught on to it, it's like, no, don't trust the reviews that use numbers, dude. Just don't. It's going to backfire. Because you're not even going to remember the review, you're just going to remember the dumb number that they slapped at the end. It's, you know, too much water, 7.6. Happy Wheels. Oh man, Happy Wheels is so good. Yeah, that was like one. Yeah, first time I was exposed to Happy Wheels was Uber Haxor Nova, and I think Markiplier. But I think I watched Markiplier later. I wasn't really paying attention too much with like who was like at the top of the YouTube pile at the while. And that's funny because I remember watching like the early days of PewDiePie and I enjoyed it, but I'm like, I'm just gonna move on to something else. Like the screaming is gonna get old after a while, so I bounced off super early. And then PewDiePie became like one of the most subscribed people on YouTube, and I'm like, man, like, wow, okay, I guess his personality is magnetic, you know. But it is nice that he is, learning how to draw. He's drawing every day. That's really inspiring. Like, yeah, because literally anybody can draw. Anybody can draw. Like, if you can learn how to write your name, you can learn how to draw. Because it's all about just your perception. You can see something, and then you could just draw it with your hands. Hand-eye coordination. Like, when you first started playing video games, it seemed a little ridiculous that how am I supposed to control my character and move the camera at the same time? Well, it's like, well, you just keep doing it, and your eyes, your hands just get better at, like, being connected. Hand-eye coordination. You don't just develop it in a day. So don't feel bad if you can't draw in a day. It's like you're still learning. Your body is still learning. So the fact that PewDiePie was able to draw as well as he does now in like what, a year is like impressive, but it's like, yeah, anybody can do that. You just draw every day and just get better at doing it because you're literally drawing it every day. You know, like if you're playing the piano, it's like, yeah, you're gonna suck on the first week because you just started playing the piano, but as long as you keep playing it every single day and you're trying to learn new techniques from professionals that are easily accessed on YouTube, then at the end of 365 days, you're gonna be really good at the piano. So, yeah. You got time on your hands. It's just intimidating to think about, like, just the dedication that you have to put in. Because we live in a fast internet age. We kind of want things to happen fast, alright? But skills need time to actually grow into profession. Like, you're always going to be learning new stuff. And instead of being discouraged that you're not instantly good at something, instead you'd be like, all right, what can I do to improve my work from yesterday? Like, what am I missing? And there's always going to be somebody on YouTube or just a book somewhere that you can just read and just help you draw your own conclusion, pun intended. I mean, the worst thing you can do is compare yourself to others when they've been doing this thing for, like, years, right? Or if you, like, stop drawing and you're like, man, I used to be really good at drawing and now I just suck at it now. It's like, well, it's like if you just stopped running one day and then you just feel bad because, oh, I got on the treadmill and I'm tripping up. It's like, dude, you haven't ran a marathon in years and now you're trying to compare yourself to how you were before. It's like, come on. Positive mental attitude is what actually helps you learn and grow to be a better person. No one got to where they are by talking shit about themselves 24/7, okay? Self-deprecating humor can be pretty addicting, but it's gonna hurt you more than it's gonna help you, because you're just gonna get used to, like, insulting yourself rather than building yourself up. I remember watching so many LBP videos, mostly by Dives 22891. Missed out on that. I think it was because, like, during that time, I spent more time playing Little Big Planet than watching content creators about it. Which, I guess, missed opportunity there. But that's just the thing, like, you can't experience everything, so... But it is nice to go back and see the things that you missed out on. Like, Neon Genesis Evangelion. You know, I never watched it until, like, 2 years ago. Like, this was, like, during the pandemic. It's like, man, I've never watched Neon Genesis Evangelion. In all the years I've watched anime, I've never seen what many people consider to be the best one. So it was really interesting to watch it in this day and age and be like, you know what? It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The movie was pretty good too. I've never watched the rebuild movies, but even then I don't really need to. Like, the original Neon Genesis is really good. And I watched, like, the original English dub because I just have, like, that nostalgia. Like, oh man, like, I usually watch the Japanese VA first and foremost, but for some reason, at least with Neon Genesis, I'm like, nah, I want to have that nostalgic experience of watching, like, the original English voice actors navigate through the writing of this thing. That'll be fun. And that was great because one of the voice actors is from Golden Boy, so that was fun to hear. Always have to revisit Dashi playing Happy Wheels? Dashi. I was watching Uber Haxer Nova Happy Wheels daily when Uber Haxer got his own character on it. That's right! Oh man, that was cool. Yeah. And even had his voice too. That was pretty sweet. Great Steve, why aren't your legs magnetic? One of these days I should play Happy Wheels on stream. It should be like a nostalgia stream where I just start playing like old games. Pretty sure there's like a couple of games on Newgrounds I'd love to play on stream. You ever played The Last Stand or The Last Stand 2? Did you get the reference? No. Is that Uber Haxer Nova? Because that's probably a deep cut. I haven't watched him in years. If not Uber, maybe Markiplier. Yes, I remember those games by Con Arts. Armor Games, yeah, Armor Games. I also love that World War I game that they had where you have to, like, move in as a group, like going from trench to trench. And you have to save up your resources so you can get, like, a tank out there. Oh man, those games are so cool. Armor Games is the best. I did hate the fact that they did that thing where it's like, oh, if you're playing this game on Newgrounds, you don't have access to all the levels. That sucks. I hate that. It's like, why did you, like, nerf the game just because it's on a different website? That sucks. Like how in Last Stand 2, you can't even go to the army base if you're playing it on Newgrounds. And the army base is the only place you can get the frickin' M60 and the RPG. He ended up making Last Stand 4, which is like a post-apocalyptic Clash of Clans. Really? Man, I only played Last Stand 1 and 2. I didn't know they made like 3 and 4. I'll have to check on that. If it's on Newgrounds anyway. I don't know if Armor Games is still up. Have to use the Wayback Machine, maybe. Jacksepticeye! Oh man, I watched Jacksepticeye much later than Markiplier. That's like way late. I think Video Game Donkey was the first like major VTuber. Can't even tell. Major YouTuber that I watched. Then Markiplier. Then No, it was definitely Uber Haxer Nova. I watched Uber Haxer Nova before Markiplier. And then Jacksepticeye last. As far as, like, the big ones go. And I'd say, like, definitely, as far as VTubers go, Kazune AI was, like, the first. This was, like, during the pandemic. And that's why I, like, discovered, like, the, you know, HoloLive. You got, Kiryu Coco and Korone, Hosho Marine, and Akai Hato, aka Hachiba. And then they announced they had like a English branch coming out, and that was great. Of course, we got, you know, Gura, Callie, Kiara, Ina, and Amelia. So yeah, it was just historical times as far as like YouTube goes, because like the whole VTuber thing just exploded during the pandemic era, because when they started introducing VTubers to the West, like my gosh. Yo, how's it going, Andreas? You drawing on Krita? I'm drawing on Clip Studio Paint. Drawing Chapter 6 of Cataclysm Club. It's an old comic I've been picking weight at because it's kind of a ambitious project, bringing 4 characters from different games together in this one clubhouse. That's the premise anyway. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. How are you doing, Andres? Oh, 1917. Yeah, that was the game. Okay. I was trying to remember the name of the game. And yeah, it is World War I. I don't know if they ever made a World War II game. I want to make a top-down version of that, exclusive rights, because Armor Games funding. Right, makes sense. Last Stand 4 was a freemium pay-to-win, but Last Stand 3 was like RPG Fallout, but it was side view. I think I remember that one. I don't think I ever finished it, but I do remember playing it. I just don't remember when. It may have been on Newgrounds. You wandered through empty streets in Union City, collect stuff. Yep, I remember that, yeah. Doing good. You ever draw on PS Photoshop? I have, and I don't know if it's just my computer, but drawing on Photoshop, I notice there's like a delay. I guess it's just because there's so many things running when you have Photoshop open. Like, it's too much. Like, there's too many moving parts. And not that Photoshop is bad or anything, but the way that I see it is Photoshop is like a warehouse of everything you possibly need to draw or to do anything. But the program I'm using is Clip Studio Paint, which is like a garage, you know? You don't have as many tools as a warehouse, but this garage has all the stuff that you're gonna be using the most frequently. You know, it's all nicely organized and all compact. You can do more with Photoshop, but most of the stuff that I need is actually in Clip Studio Paint. And even then, before that, I use Paint Tool Sci, and that is like a amazing program to use when you're starting to draw digitally. Like, all the skills I learned from all the skills I learned from Paint Tool Sci was easily converted to Clip Studio Paint, because a lot of the layout just looks so similar, and Clip Studio Paint is just as customizable as Paint Tool Sci. Try not to commit property damage challenge. I always found Photoshop to be overrated. Yeah, and especially with the whole subscription thing, I can't really recommend Photoshop to anyone who isn't like super committed to making money off your work on Photoshop like nonstop, because dude, $60 a month is not a joke. All right, that will hurt you if you're not getting any funding to just cancel that out. Like, you're gonna have to keep opening commissions nonstop just to, you know, justify having the Adobe subscription. But still, you can do some fantastic work with Photoshop. You just have to put your money where your mouth is. Your mouth. I've used Photoshop for about 4 or 5 years now. I kind of want to get into other apps, but I'm way too adjusted for Photoshop. I just pirated them. Yeah, fair enough. A lot of people have been doing that, and it's funny too because when they when Photoshop first announced that your work can be used for, you know, AI and algorithm, like by using the program, like you're consenting to having your work be, you know, in the database. So many people were like flooding out and just trying to find alternate programs. They're like, all right, look, you want to pirate Photoshop? Here's a link. And you click on the link and it's like, it's too much traffic. You're gonna have to wait tomorrow to get the link. It's like so many people were getting the pirated version of Photoshop because of the AI shit. And then, you know, Photoshop was like, all right, we walk back on that. Our bad. We're not gonna be doing that. At least not yet. So please come back. It's like, gosh. We didn't call you out on that bullshit. You would have done it, like, with impunity. But I get that. It's gonna be very difficult for me to, like... Actually, you know what? If, you know, fingers crossed it doesn't happen. If something stupid happens to Clip Studio Paint and I have to bounce, I'll just go back to Paint Tool Sci. Like, yeah, I'm gonna miss a few of the features from Clip Studio Paint, especially when I just got the animation software portion for it. But if I really need to draw, no strings attached, I still own the license for Paint Tool Sci. So always have a backup plan. All Adobe can do to me is give me an undisclosed pop-up that I can just drag to the edge of the screen. That's funny. It's like that prompt unregistered Hypercam 2. I'd feel bad, but charging $60 a month for it is insane. Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that everybody's switching over to the subscription model is highway robbery. I miss the days where you can just buy software and just have it. And guess what? If you want to get like the latest version, just buy the latest version. But if the old version still works, by all means, you know, keep using it. But those days are gone. Everything needs to be connected to the grid now. Well, yeah, unless you get the pirated version, of course. Sailing the 7 seas is always an option. Same with TV. It is funny, you know, we were spoiled with cable, and now that every channel has to have its own subscription streaming site, it's like, yeah, we miss cable again. When all these channels were just bundled together. You know, we got Cartoon Network, we got the Disney Channel. Nope, nowadays it's all separate. And what's even more frustrating is the fact that with streaming, if a show gets taken down, you don't have any means to watch it. Because there's a chance that streaming site was the only place you could watch it. Like, they didn't even have, like, a physical release. Like, no DVD, no Blu-ray. So you're in trouble if the show goes down. Like, one of my favorite shows on HBO Max was Infinity Train. But when that got taken down, people were panicking. It's like, oh my gosh, like, how are we supposed to watch Infinity Train now? It's not on HBO Max. And they're like, well, here's a Google Drive link to all the episodes of Season 1 and 2. So yeah, I mean, piracy is preservation at this point. Because if you cannot legally watch a show, what are you gonna let it just fade into obscurity? No, you're gonna back it up somewhere in a flash drive. Cable was so much more fun, just caught whatever was on and watched it. Agreed. And it was a game changer when you can actually rewind and pause for a certain amount of time, and of course record videos, record episodes. So you don't have to, you know, be glued to your TV 24/7. The only time it didn't work was when there's like a thunderstorm, so when you tuned in like the next day, it's like, yeah, the recording got corrupted. You can't, it's all static, you can't see anything. But still, like, it worked much better than having to get your VCR to record the episode. Recording episodes literally saved some shows from becoming lost in media, and yeah. Shoot, it's always good news to hear something like coming back because someone found a lost tape in their attic, like somewhere. I always love watching those videos talking about lost media that is now found in current year. It's always cool. And it adds to, like, that spookiness, too, because, like, people would talk about, like, this scary episode that was banned on TV, and they're like, did that episode actually exist, or are they just, you know, messing with us? And then somebody just comes out and be like, hey, I found the video. It actually did exist. Latin American dub of Kirby was lost media until 2021. Glad somebody found it. Well, only the first 2 seasons were covered, but still, you only had like 8 episodes for 15 years. Wow. I rescued a box of VHS tapes and CDs from the dumpster. Someone was polite enough to leave them next to the dumpster. Yeah, instead of throwing it in. That is nice. They wanted it to be found. Yeah, good for you. Shoot, that's one thing I've never done. It's dumpster dive because I'm pretty germophobic. Which is funny because I used to be an outdoors kid. I loved like exploring and stuff. I played in the mud. I mean, I used to like bring out the army men and just set them up in like on an anthill or something. But yeah, at a certain point, I'm like, you know what? I just want to stay inside, play video games. I don't feel like getting dirty all that much anymore. What a shame. I still love playing on the playground, but that was it. I was done being an outdoors kid. It's time for PlayStation. We should make a global humanity data server to host all entertainment. Man, that would be the dream. All these billionaires need to start investing in actual preservation. Oh, dude, that would be like the most well-liked billionaire in the world if they invested in like a company that actually did that. Just go out, find lost media, and just preserve it. You know? You have billions of dollars, you can afford the licensing. Whatever company still owns the licensing anyway, otherwise it's probably in the public domain. So if you're a billionaire and you want to be liked by like literally everybody, just do that. Just start saving obscure TV shows and video games and anime. Anime too, like geez, there's so many anime that just was on VHS and nowhere else. It was never broadcasted on TV. Were they cursed? Some of them were cursed, like no name taste, but nothing creepy. I used to play with plastic soldiers and Legos. I have personally liberated 5 to 10 grand worth of dumpster. Wow. Well, one man's trash is another man's treasure, right? Something about lost media is really fascinating to me. Let me think of it. Like, think about it. There's a whole ass Phantom Blood movie that came out in theaters back in 2007, and literally no one's seen it since. Wow. 2 guitars, 50 pounds of produce, $5,000 of imported cheese, and 5 years family supply of Kit Kats? I mean, I'm assuming they're expired. That's probably why they chucked it. Otherwise, yeah, that's pretty weird that they just... I don't know. Put it to waste like that. I do know that, like, I remember there was, like, this bookstore that, like, if something's about to expire, or has already expired by, like, a couple of days, they're like, look, we're gonna put this in clearance, and we'll let you know, hey, this is expired. This is why it's cheap. But if you still want to buy it anyway, we're not gonna stop you. Otherwise, it's just gonna go straight to the garbage. And I had a friend who would always, like, get those deals, and, yeah, knowing me, I'm like, you know, I'll just take one. I don't... I don't want to put my life at risk just because I want to save a few bucks. I know it's only been like a couple days, but I don't know. Just something about buying something that's expired just feels like uncharted territory to me. It's like my body is just screaming, what are you doing? Why must you put me to the test? I remember the outdoor kid days. I got a lot less bug bites when I became an indoors guy. Yeah, that's what probably forced me to just stop being an outdoors kid. Mosquitoes would eat me alive, and that's not fun having to come back inside and being like, why am I so itchy? And then you just spend like the whole day trying not to scratch the bites. And what's worse is I didn't find out until much later that the trick for that is on a mosquito bite, if you were to take like an alcohol wipe and just rub it and just leave it alone, not only will it heal faster, but it will stop itching because the alcohol literally suffocates the frickin' bug bite. And if it continues to itch, just hit it again with the alcohol wipe. Alcohol was always the solution. I should have known. I should have known better not to mess with a Black Widow baby. But... yep. Those were the days. Most of the best stuff in dumpster diving is found not because you dive into the dumpster, but rather you habitually check the area. Yeah, I figured as much. Unless you're gonna be like rocking some overalls and some gloves, I don't think you would actually be diving into the dumpster. Just look into it, see if you can grab something easy. You know? I get that. I became an indoors kid when I realized I hate sunburns. Yeah, sunburns are terrible too, but like most of the time I would just stay in the shade. Like I was smart enough, I guess, to just like build mud pies and play like under a tree or something. And the only times I did get like sunburns was like on the beach or near a swimming pool if I just was too lazy to put on sunscreen. Some movies are unironically theater-only releases. I forget which one is coming out like that soon. Barnes & Noble would throw books into the recycling bins out back. I used to skip school in high school and check the dumpsters. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, getting free books is nice. Some clerk sold me orange juice that had been expired for 6 months and was not refrigerated. Oh, dude, that's a war crime. I mean, the fact that you're still having this conversation, I guess you're tougher than you thought you were, but still, that doesn't sound like a fun time. I can't remember ever being sold an expired product. I used to have freckles on top of my freckles. Goodness. Now I barely get any sunlight. Yeah. The trick to that, though, I mean, I guess it's easier if you have your family staying over, but whenever somebody's like, you want to go out to, like, a park or something, I'm like, alright, I'll go. Or you want to check out this bookstore. Like, if somebody asks you if you want to go somewhere, you have to say yes. Otherwise, you're not going to see the sun and you're not going to touch grass. You literally have to seize the opportunity to just get yourself out of the house. Otherwise, you're just not going to do it because your house is comfy. This is where you have your video games. It's hard to leave. So, take my advice. If you have anybody who likes going outside, get them to ask you to put yourself out there. Because if you don't, it's really hard to meet new people. If you don't force yourself into a new environment, your situation is just gonna stay the same. You're just gonna keep seeing the same people and all the same faces. I found a story about a kid who got bitten by a spider because he thought he would turn into Spider-Man, and that spider just so happened to be a Black Widow. Oh shit! Oh man, I hope he survived. Someone should have showed that kid the Marvel Ruins series. We didn't drink the orange juice. He actually gave it to me for free because he knew it was bad. What a bastard. The kid survived, but what are the odds? Yep. It wasn't his time to go. And now he has a crazy story to tell, so I guess it worked out, right? Kind of get a good bit of sun nowadays on the way home from work. It was like this for over 10 years. Yeah. I did get stung by a scorpion one time, like a really small one though, and I was like, this was like way back in like elementary school. Oh man, I thought I was gonna die. Like, it hurt so much. And I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. I think it was just, you know, it wasn't as potent. I mean, it was like a really tiny scorpion, but still, that scared me to death. Well, not death, but I really thought it was over for me. I got way too young to die. Never been stung by a bee before, but I can imagine that's even worse. Like, you actually have to deal with a lot more swelling. Jeez. Why is Mother Nature conspiring against us? It was Jover. Tover. Trying to type in a comment that I got taken to a website to buy a new phone. Oh my gosh, YouTube. That's like the worst ones where they just like flash an advertisement on you right as you're about to touch the screen. I hate that so much. And that's like every website, not just YouTube. I was like, I clicked on a news article, and I'm not even kidding, I could barely read the frickin' news because there are so many advertisements just popping up on the screen. And these weren't just like regular pop-ups, these are like video pop-ups that are eating up bandwidth. And I'm like, I just want to read the news. I can't do that when you're showing me all these car commercials. Like, please, I'm trying to stay educated, trying to stay informed. Again, people already complaining, oh man, like, everybody's attention span is just dying. And I'm like, oh, I wonder why. Freaking advertisements everywhere, dude. You can blame TikTok all you want, but have you seen these advertisements? It's like you're about to have a seizure. I forgot how good Friday Night Funkin' MILF was, right? It goes so hard. You can love it. I think for a while that was like my favorite song, and then eventually it became like Guns. Guns is such a banger. Oh fuck. Shit. This song is copyrighted. Okay, if this stream gets unlisted, it's because of that song. Oh my gosh. That song is amazing, but that's literally gonna take down the stream. I mean, that's what happened last time. Like, this playlist, I have, like, video game songs or songs that appear in video games. That song, that one song, just straight up just canceled out the stream. Like, man. That's a real shame. I need to just remove that song from the playlist. Oh, man. That was playing for a while, too. Damn it. Damn it, Black Keys. Why would you make such a banger of a song and make it, like, the worst song to play on a stream? Hopefully you can fly under the radar, maybe. I didn't get a notification on Twitter. Didn't get a notification on YouTube saying, hey, you're playing copyrighted music, stop. So maybe, but most likely not, so don't be surprised if you don't see this stream tomorrow, this VOD. How unfortunate. But yeah, I went ahead and took off the song from the playlist, so it won't happen next time, I promise. Been going on a bit of a Sega binge lately. The games that were popular in America back then kind of made the Genesis library look lame. What came out in Japan is so much better. Yeah. It's kind of not fair. Well, not that I'm complaining, because usually when video game companies make good games, the real winners are the players, so... But yeah, I'm not really familiar with the Genesis library compared to when Sega and Nintendo were offering. I remember, like, when I was still a kid and I had to go to, like, a children's dentist office, they had, like, a Sega Genesis and a Nintendo NES, and you can probably guess which one was the more popular console. It's not even fair. You didn't know Sega made other games besides Sonic? It's crazy, dude, right? I'm telling you, if you never played Valkyria Chronicles 1 or 4, definitely add it to your list. I mean, you can get it anywhere. You can get it on Nintendo Switch, you can get it on PlayStation 4, and it's on Steam, of course. Of course. I'm out here waiting for Nintendo to make one. Make what? Another console?
No need to worry, at least enough for two. This is a space. Information, resources, you have everything. Find what's lacking is far more difficult, except one little thing. The whole world is kind to me, but sorry.
Some of the ones I've been playing recently are the Monster World series, Popful Mail, and Kaio Flying Squadron. Not 100% familiar with those. I've always been more familiar with the PlayStation lineup. My first console was a PlayStation 2, but before that I played a ton at my cousin's house. My first Nintendo console was a Nintendo GameCube, but a lot of my knowledge of Nintendo games is just from other people. Videos, going to a friend's house, that sort of thing. And I got a Nintendo Wii, and I got a Nintendo Switch. I did not get a Nintendo Wii U, but that's only because by the time I even had the opportunity to get one, it was already out the door. They already declared the Wii U as a failure, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because I definitely wanted to play the original Splatoon, but no. Didn't get the opportunity. So my first Splatoon was Splatoon 2, which is a really good game. But it does make me wonder, is there ever going to be a point where they remaster the Splatoon games and like put them in like a bundle? Well, not even just a bundle. If you can just re-release like Splatoon 1 on the newer consoles, that would be cool. I'd buy that. I wouldn't even wait for a sale, I'd just get it. I want to get into Puyo, but I suck at puzzle games. I'm okay at puzzle games. I don't like actively seek them, but I'm not intimidated by their presence. But you know, Tetris has always been my bread and butter, so there's that. PlayStation 2 is still the best console of all time? Agreed. That one is going to be incredibly difficult to beat. It is outrageous how amazing the lineup is. Even day one. Day one, they had like Ace Combat, Silent Hill, Devil May Cry. Like, there's that famous picture of like the PlayStation 2 starting games. Hang on, let me find it. Pretty sure I had it saved somewhere. Aside from memes and stuff. I guess I could just look it up and get a new picture, but we'll see. Ugh. Alright, I'm just gonna see if I can find a new picture. Or not even like launch titles, but just this lineup right here is immaculate. There's only one game on here that I don't recognize. Yep, Ace Combat, Grand Theft Auto 3, Ico, Jack and Daxter, Metal Gear Solid 2, Silent Hill 2, Gran Turismo, Final Fantasy, Devil May Cry, and I don't know what this is. I was told Nintendo was going to self-destruct every Wii U console. It was a fake article though. I don't know, man. It sounds legit. My uncle works in Nintendo. Klonoa 2, my beloved. I never played the Klonoa series, but I know there's a lot of die-hard fans out there, including Matthew Perry for some reason. Apparently Matthew Perry really loved the Klonoa games. Maybe a little too much. I don't know if it was real or not, but he had like that one tweet saying that he was playing the Klonoa games with his pants on the floor. Like, I don't know what that means, and I don't want to think too hard about it. Oh, man. Maybe he was joking, I don't know. Or maybe it was a fake tweet. I don't know. Think people go on the internet and tell lies? I think what shocks me the most is that Matthew Perry knew what Klonoa was. I gotta find that tweet. I wonder if it's real. Oh my gosh, why? Alright, well, here's a screenshot. Oh, man. Rest in peace, you magnificent bastard. All right. I think it's about time for me to call it a night. Had a pretty long day today. Went out, checked out a bookstore, got some ice cream, and walked around a bit. So, had a pretty eventful day, I'd say. You know, but and of course, you know, streaming. It's always it's always a load of fun to catch up with everybody, especially with the new year too. You know, I know 2024 has been a tough year for a lot of us, but you know, we're still here, still alive and kicking, and just have to remind yourself every day that your heart is still beating is just a reminder that your body is still alive and kicking. So if your body can still put up a fight, so can your mind. Yeah, just keep trying to be the best version of yourself and be kind, be excellent to as many people as you can. It's so much easier to just be friends with people than to make enemies. I mean, it sounds like it should be common sense, but unfortunately it's not. And the only thing I can really say is there's nothing more profitable for a politician or a company than hate. So, you know, be careful when you have somebody try to redirect your anger towards something, because there's always going to be a profit to be made with your distraction. But, you know, I guess that'll be a discussion for another time. Just focus on just being a good person to yourself and to others, and life will be much easier. And life is not supposed to be easy. It's always been like an uphill climb. It's got its ups and its downs. And if you ever read much about history or just, you know, life in general, there's always going to be a point where things are just looking a little hopeless, you know. But as long as you could just be with the people that are like-minded and open-minded and have a good heart, you'll be okay. So will everyone else. The worst thing you can ever do is just feel like you're alone or you're isolating yourself from people who want to help. Stuff like that. I don't have a speech ready, I'm just riffing here. I just feel like, yeah, it's a new year and things are going to be really intimidating, but that's how we felt last year and the year before that, especially during the pandemic. And the important thing is that you just don't let fear take over. Fear is natural, but you shouldn't dwell in it. Fear is there to just remind you that we're human and there's always something to lose, but at the same time that also means that you got a chance to defend it. And as tempting as it is to just feel like nothing matters and there's nothing you can do, it's not correct. Seems like a Herculean task to try to change the world for the better, but you're not supposed to do it alone. If you look at like historical figures, they didn't do it alone. George Washington didn't do it alone. Alexander the Great, did you forget that he had like an army? You want to change the world, you do it with other people. You don't do it by yourself. And, you know, just keep striving to be a better version of yourself, because that's how you make your life feel like it's worth living. Is you're constantly improving yourself, even if it's in little ways. Just, you know, being more honest with people, developing new skills, inspiring others to do the same. Just that, you know. And, you know, and everybody needs to have that conversation with themselves, like, of all the things that piss you off, And you can't check off every box. You don't have enough energy for that. So, prioritize on being happy and spreading happiness to others, and the world will be okay. And like I said, there's always gonna be ups and downs, but when you have other people with you, it's not gonna take very long to get back on the up and up, you know? Just words for your consideration. Well, yeah, that's all, folks. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Happy New Year. Andreas, Subwoofer, Zardafran. Y'all have a fantastic night. Thanks for stopping by, and anyone else I missed out, Instrumental, if you're still here, have a good night. We be excellent to each other. So says Bill and Ted. Never seen Bill and Ted, at least watch the first movie. The first movie's pretty good. Yeah. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
You ready to do something profoundly stupid?
Am I ready? Anytime.
It's time to tip the odds back in our favor.
Okay, it's game time.
Get in here! Oh, there you are! This was it. It was almost over.
Did you see that, Zach? Clear as a crisp spring morning. I knew I could count on it. Never fails. Now then, let's get going.